Hello and welcome to Pop Culture Shark, a live stream where we discuss pop culture. I am Final Monkey,
And I'm Caleb.
and today we got a kind of a hodgepodge of topics. There's a lot going on with the writer's strike. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 came out, and Caleb became a Jedi Padawan Knight Master. I'm
Night.
not sure.
Night.
So we will discuss all that today. But first, let's do our weekend checkup. Caleb, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Obviously, whenever we get into my Disney trip, that will be the majority of what my week has been. As far as weekend, we got back late Friday. So I have a confession to make. For a preview for those for next week, we will be discussing Picard season 3 at the behest of my co-host here. Um, Even though I uh, famously don't like Star Trek, and so what I decided to do, because I started watching yesterday, but I was like, you know what? What if I start the first season just to
No.
see how bad it is?
So I'm curious to see what happens because I knew some of the spoilers from season one and they come into play in season three a little bit towards the end. I want to see what happens if someone watches it who doesn't know any of the spoilers. If they could still follow along.
Oh, well, then we have an issue.
How much of season one did you watch, Caleb?
I loved it. I finished it.
Season one? Okay.
I loved it. And see, so that's the thing. I think that's like the hard proof that I hate Star Trek.
Mhm.
Is that, you know, every Star Trek nerd hates Picard up until season 3, but I watched Picard season 1 and like I am just it is the I've never been more enthralled in Star Trek except for maybe that first Abrams movie.
So I will tell you that after watching season three, I want to go back and watch season one. I haven't done it yet. So we'll,
I
we'll
mean,
get into we'll get into
yeah,
all this next week.
yeah.
I'm trying to. It's hard because that's still because that was something I watched last week myself, and so that's all in my head, still bouncing around.
Mhm.
Um, so you had your Disney trip, and you went and saw Guardians. We'll talk about that here in a little
Yes,
bit.
yes.
Uh,
And what we'll talk about is they actually had a sort of because we saw it at Disney Springs, and so they had kind of like a red carpet premiere, and it was so cool. Like, unfortunately, at least as far as I know, they may have been there on Friday, but we saw it on the Thursday. You know how they do like 7:30 Thursday premieres now?
mhm.
Um, there wasn't anybody there. I wouldn't be surprised if, say, Chris Pratt or uh, Bradley Cooper were to have shown up on like the Friday showings. But as far as like just the spectacle, it was so cool.
That's cool. Um, yeah, so I've had Picard on my brain because my mother and I, we watched through. We binge watched it in like 3 days. Um,
I did the season 1. I started yesterday and I finished after church this morning.
cool. Um, I've
They're not
been.
long episodes.
I'm trying to think of how long season three was. I think they were like 45 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess I'm so used to streaming shows being, at that 60-minute mark at this point that whenever something goes back to the 40-minute mark,
mhm.
that it's like, oh man, this was kind of short. That's what I like. It's kind of a breeze. It's fun.
um, what else? Oh, so I've been reading some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Getting caught up on some of those I've had forever. I went to the bookstore and I went to Half Price Books and picked up Thor Ragnaroks, which is the Ragnarok in the comic books that happened around the Civil War time. Um, so like the real Ragnarok, not the movie garbage.
So wait, like, so you got the Planet Hulk though, right?
No, this was not Planet Hulk. This was actual Ragnarok. So I'm looking forward to reading that again. I've read it years and years ago. But yeah. What else? Or something else I was gonna say. Oh, yesterday was Free Comic Book Day. So hopefully everybody got to enjoy that.
I actually missed it because we had just gotten back and like I just did not want to go out at all
I
yesterday.
hear you. Traveling is rough. Oh, my brother was in town, so we went to some of the big malls here in Texas, and we walked through Peppa Pig Land. So yeah, that's big news.
Oh, that's amazing. Did you get pictures?
I think my brother took a picture. I'll have to get it from him. Yeah, just the fact that there is a Peppa Pig Land, it's mind blowing. So
It honestly doesn't surprise me.
yeah,
You know, I remember whenever Peppa Pig was like new, like
hmm
I never would have imagined that Peppa Pig would become as big as it did.
yeah, it was like on it was on Cartoon Network at first. They were trying to do a preschool lineup, and it didn't last very long, and so they got rid of it. Then I think it went to Nickelodeon or something.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Super, super weird.
another stupid mistake by Cartoon Network. But we could do a whole show about Cartoon Network stupid mistakes.
I'd love to. I know. So here's the thing. So I know that I've said that I want to kind of step away from the missteps of Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, and stuff like that, just because we talk about it all the time. But the missteps of Cartoon Network, I don't think is talked about nearly enough. And
Because it used to be so good.
yeah, I've gone back and watched Ed, Ed and Eddie, and I'm like, this show is hilarious.
Now I never got to that one, but just Cartoon Network as a whole, like the just the commercials and the attitude it had, it was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. I could talk about that for hours. So we'll add that to the list of topics for for another
Yeah.
day. So let's talk about some Marvel missteps. I'm starting a new segment called "Say What." So I don't know. Yesterday, or not yesterday. Last week, while you were out, there was a lot of Fantastic Four
Yes.
casting shenanigan rumors. We've heard so many rumors. Who knows what is real and what's not? But the weirdest rumor, I don't know if you heard this, was that Mila Kunis was in talks to play the Thing.
Yes. In addition to the weird ones such as Adam Driver's Reed Richards and Margot Robbie as Sue Storm, uh, Mila Kunis as the Thing, just a gender bent thing. That is extremely weird.
Well, and they have had female things in the comics, so I mean it's been done, but to start out the Fantastic Four with that is just it's odd. And for a brand that is struggling so much, Marvel, how much it's been struggling, that's a weird choice.
So
And I've heard that this is false though, but the fact
okay.
that that's out there doesn't mean they won't cast some other female as
Right. I don't. There was actually a short list of female things, but I can't remember who else. I just remember Mila Kunis was funny because like shut up thing. It would definitely be a thing that they say.
I could see her playing like Alicia Masters, Thing's a blind girlfriend from the
that'd
comics.
be so funny. Yeah,
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some of the names being thrown around for the other characters, Kirsten Bell for Invisible Woman.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Margot Robbie.
Here's the thing. I'm fine with Margot Robbie as well, except for the fact that she's in everything.
Yeah.
I'm not like I saw the tweet from Grace Randolph where she's like, I hope that she declines so that way someone else can have a shot. And I'm like, first of all, calm down, Grace.
Yeah, the fact that you're listening to Grace Randolph is your first mistake.
Secondly, like if she's offered and she wants to accept it, that is totally fine. She does not have to worry about anyone else getting a shot. But I definitely I see Kristen Bell more, I guess. Who else is being shut out for Reed Richards? Like we got
Adam
Adam Driver.
Driver. At this point, I'd be fine if Ashton Kutcher was Reed at this point.
You know what? Get Ashton Kutcher as Reed with. You know what? Let's just get Topher Grace as
Yeah, as Johnny and
um
what's
uh,
the other guy's name that's on there? Not the one that's
Fez.
is it Fez? Have him play Doctor Doom, and it's perfect.
Hello,
Or
I am
Red.
Reed Richards.
Red as Doctor Doom. And his
Oh,
name
Red. Oh my gosh. Yes. And you're like, okay, remember RoboCop 2? Just do that. Oh man, that would be great.
Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit more about Marvel Chaos here in a minute, but I wanted to show Caleb something else real quick in our Say What segment.
Yes.
They have announced a holiday special called Merry Little Batman about Damian Wayne.
I have heard about Merry Little Batman. I've heard the name, and that's all I know.
Are you excited about this?
I don't know. I've only heard the name.
All right, here you go. I'm going to show you a picture of it. This is coming to Amazon, I think.
Really? Not HBO?
No, because they're shopping stuff around. That's how they're going to start making money again, which Disney doesn't do because they use everything on Disney Plus and don't make money. Here you go. So here is Merry Little Batman with Damian Wayne.
So where's where's the picture?
Let me scroll down.
I mean,
okay, here's the picture. I found it. Okay, here we go.
Are you sure? I mean, are you sure that that's not Smiling Friends?
Let me look behind this lumberjack and see if I can find Batman.
Where's Shrimpina at? Where's Mr. Frog? I'm so confused. Like, is it supposed to be funny? Is it a comedy?
Let's go back to the description here. After Damian Wayne is left alone in Wayne Manor on Christmas Eve, he transforms himself into Little Batman to safeguard his home and the rest of Gotham City from supervillains during the holiday season. Oh, so this is Home Alone.
Okay, here's the thing. As long as Alfred and Bruce are not in it a whole lot, I'm down with this because I think a little Damian, like a little bite-sized Damian, like Home Aloneing people like Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy, I think that's hilarious. So cautiously optimistic because the idea is there. the art style obviously is not, but the idea.
Oh, it's like the regular show or something. I don't know what this is.
That's right. Mordecai and Rigby just show up at the Defend Wayne Manor against Billy Mitchell.
Oh, I'm not sure who this live stream is for anymore, but we have fun.
Us.
It's for me and you. It doesn't matter if we ever have any viewers. It's fine.
It's for us. This is what we do. Oh my Lord.
All right, I just wanted to get your reaction to that because I like springing stuff like that on you just to see how you react. All right, getting to some actual news. Let's see here. There is a writer's strike going on, and do you remember the last writer's strike back in, I think it was 2007?
I vaguely do. I just remember that all of my favorite shows were ruined because of it.
Yes, it lasted for about 100 days, and it blew up a bunch of shows and movies, and some of them never recovered, like Lost and 24 and
Heroes,
Battlestar Galactica. Oh, Heroes, that was the big one that got really screwed up. That's right. Yeah.
Heroes was my favorite, and I still watched it.
Yeah,
I watched it till the very end. So real quick, if I may just go ahead and put my 2 cents about the writer's strike, I say good on them because, man, if we can get these people to stop writing, then that's a good thing because nothing has been good lately.
A couple of things, but yeah, and the big issue, the big sticking point right now is CGI. Or not CGI, AI.
Oh yeah, sure.
It-
Chat GPT. That's terrifying.
yeah. So they're trying to figure out how to handle that and some of the streaming stuff, and then there's a lot of stuff going on with when you hire someone to write for a show for like 3 weeks, and if it goes past those 3 weeks, the writers still have to work, but they don't get paid for that. So there's just a lot of nasty stuff they have to deal with.
Oh
So
yeah, definitely.
um, so yeah, I feel for some of the writers, but
No, no, no. Here's the thing. I say that partially as a joke.
oh,
Like,
I know,
yes,
I know,
yes. These are people after all.
right,
Um, and it does suck. And their body of work does not represent them as people. Even though I don't like what they're writing,
hmm
they still are people.
I think I saw somewhere that Rings of Power is continuing with season 2 of no writers now. They're just going to film and don't have a showrunner and stuff.
Hey, you know what? It'll be a better show.
It will be a better show.
Maybe they can get Henry Cavill to stick on for Witcher.
um, so yeah,
So
this is gonna blow up Marvel really, but because Blade had just hired a new writer like last week.
if I may, I
Mhm.
actually I think the writer's strike could actually be very good for Marvel if
Mhm.
they do one thing. And here's the thing, it has to be done. If they don't do it, then the Marvel Cinematic Universe is done at this point. You take this time, be like, okay, so all of our writers are on strike. Let's take a look and see how we can start over. Because the the Kang dynasty is not a good idea.
No, they need to use the writer strike as an opportunity to say, okay, you know what, the writer strike ruined everything. We're just throwing everything in the trash, and then when you come back, relaunch with Fantastic Four and X-Men, and just go
Yeah.
and just kind of ignore the Kang stuff.
Yes. At this point, whether or not the Jonathan Majors stuff is true or not, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, I mean he's pretty much done.
Yeah.
The problem is they've already filmed Loki season 2 with him in it,
Yes. Yeah.
so
Well,
that
I mean,
is
you can say that the problem is that the Flash has already been written with Ezra Miller in it, but apparently it's the greatest DC film to ever come out ever. I don't know what people have been saying. I feel like they say that for
that,
every film.
but they have been saying that, yeah, this is amazing. We can't cancel it. Yeah, so put a pin in Flash. We'll come back to Flash here in a minute.
Yeah.
Um,
Are you talking about like people forgetting his crimes? Have you seen that? Have you seen that quote?
yeah, from the it's so
Costume-
good you'll forget. We're not gonna use the words they use, but yeah, you'll forget the stuff he did. Basically, yeah.
Well, so the quote that I heard was costume designer says the Flash is so good
Yeah,
it
but
will make you,
we can't say that word.
that word.
The G word we cannot say.
That's not what I was gonna say.
Okay, fine.
No, yeah, I don't know what you're saying. I'm saying you will forget all about Ezra's crimes.
Okay,
Is
that's
yeah, that's what I heard. You'll have to tell me what you heard off camera, but yeah, I don't know what you're saying. But yeah, like, and here's the thing: we did a lot of talk because my dad famously is afraid of flying, so we had a very long car drive up and down.
Mhm.
And at that point, my dad, like, he's big into comic book movies and he likes comic books, not as much as to like get into like the actual discussions of how to make them, what, like, he's not a theory crafter, if you will.
Mhm.
But he's like, yeah, Kang is stupid and they need to just stop it.
Mhm.
I think what he said was they need to stop it and they need to get Doctor Doom right.
Yeah, I agree. Kang has always been like your poor man's Doctor Doom. He's
Yeah.
he's just never been on that level. I mean, really, they should just bring like if you want to wait on Doctor Doom, just bring Ultron back and do him right.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, we say do him right. I like what they did with Ultron, but yes, like
He needs to be
definitely.
way deadlier. But yes,
Yes. I know what you mean. Um, yeah, and the thing is we're actually at the perfect spot where you could just stop the Kang stuff because I mean Kang was just the bad guy for Ant-Man Quantumania, and that was the Kang story. You did it. Yay, bye-bye.
yeah, because he gets defeated at the end of that, right?
Yeah,
Spoilers
well,
for Ant-Man 3, but yes.
oh no, we're gonna spoil Ant-Man.
Oh no.
But yeah, so I mean the problem I actually I watched this video and I thought it was brilliant. The problem with Kang is he has been defeated in every single thing he's appeared in. So he is not a threat.
No, he's
Sylvie
not.
killed him. Yeah, he got beat up by a bunch of ants, and he got beat up by MODOK, and then he got beat up by Ant-Man, and
Yeah, so I was just gonna pull this up real quick just to see what we think is gonna get really affected by this writer strike. I'd love to figure out how to zoom in if I can. I don't know how
I
to do that.
think I think everything after Marvels.
Yeah, I don't know how far along Captain America: New World Order is.
Which, by the way, I firmly believe that Marvels will be the last straw. I think the Marvels. I firmly believe that the Marvels is. First of all, it's gonna suck. It looks awful.
Mm-hmm.
Like even for Captain Marvel standards, it looks awful.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there's a good chance that Captain America, that Thunderbolts, that there's a good chance that everything after Marvels gets canceled, or at least reworked heavily.
Yeah. So when the trailer started, I was trying to figure out, oh, do I got time to go to the bathroom? And it starts playing that BC Boy music. I was like, no. And I took off running down the steps because I was like, I am not watching the stupid Marvels trailer again. And I didn't quite make it to the door before. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I was like, no,
Yeah.
stop. That trailer drives me crazy.
It's
It's bad.
and the unfortunate thing is I like what we've done with Monica Rambeau thus far in like
Yes.
WandaVision.
Mhm.
I still haven't seen Miss Marvel, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. And that actress, I just love her in interviews.
Mhm.
And so it's one of those things where it's just like, oh man, I'm so sorry that you guys are in this movie.
Yeah. Thunderbolts, I don't know how far along that is. I feel like that's going to get delayed. I mean, it's really a Sentry movie, and it's not really a Thunderbolts movie. Captain America: New World Order. I'm pretty sure they're going to change the name of this to World War Hulk or Hulks, and have the Green Hulk versus Red Hulk, and that'll be the movie.
Yeah, whenever they get officially get the naming rights back.
Yeah. I think that's the only way that movie is successful. Is if it's not a Sam Falcon or Sam Captain America movie. Because I could already see the poster of Green Hulk fighting Red Hulk,
Just make it like a WWE poster.
Yes. Big WrestleMania. Yeah. I mean, that's the only way that movie makes $1 billion.
That movie doesn't make $1 billion. I'm sorry. Even if it is a Hulk movie, Hulk movies don't make $1 billion.
I think Hulk's he's one of their more recognizable characters they have left.
I think that he is probably the most recognizable character they have left, but unfortunately, he is not he is not the type of character he was in
No,
the early 2000s.
you can't do the Hulk the way you've been doing Hulk. It has to be classic Hulk. Like you can't do smart Hulk again. This has to be.
How do you retroactively do that?
Well, I mean, it's in the comics. It's constantly a struggle. So you have to
Make
I
Bruce
don't
Banner
know.
a character?
I don't know if Mark Ruffalo could do it though.
No, he can't. That's what I've been saying. Is Mark Ruffalo? He seems like such a nice, genuine guy, but I don't think he's a good actor. No. Okay, there was that movie that came out a couple of years ago called Spotlight that won all those awards. He was brilliant in that. Where has that been since then?
All right. So this movie we've got questions about. Thunderbolts is going to be terrible. Blade's never going to happen. I'm to that point.
So I'm actually at the point because I think Blade and Thunderbolts are kind of side by side. I think they both get canceled.
Well, I know Thunderbolts, they were talking about they brought in some new writers a couple months ago. So yeah, depending where the script is at and depending on how long the writer strike lasts. Like if they resolve the writer strike next week, great. But here's the thing, there's about to be a director strike. That's next. So yeah, I see. I don't know if any of these are coming out. Depends on how far along they are. So let's scroll down a little bit to the TV shows. I'm positive they're not done with Daredevil. There's no way. Because it was like 18 episodes.
Yeah.
I think Agatha's probably a little bit far along. I know it's a musical, so I know that they have probably been getting the songs ready. Echo was being reworked, so that's probably dead.
Ironheart's dead.
Ironheart's probably dead. What If is probably far enough along because it's animated, so you have to get those scripts done pretty quick.
Well, hold on. Right here it says status post-production for both Echo and Ironheart. I don't know what that means, I guess.
Well, I mean, then they're doing special effects, but that could also mean they have to do reshoots. But once they have to do reshoots, that's rewrites.
That's true.
They can't do any of that. And from the different podcasts and live streams I've been listening to about the writer strike is when you're the showrunner, you have to be there on set to make last minute changes when they're filming. So if they're filming anything, they're dead right now because they don't have that showrunner on set doing last minute rewrites or last minute changes. I mean, you can film it without the showrunner, but we'll see what that looks like with Rings of Power.
What if, and not the show What If, but what if they do Rings of Power and then it turns out, wow, it's so much easier to do this without a showrunner. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying what if that's the message that's taken?
I think you have to have a showrunner.
I'm not saying that you don't have to. I'm saying that what if that's the message that they take from this? That like we can make shows without a showrunner. It doesn't matter if they're good.
Yeah. So on the other side, DC really doesn't have this problem because Aquaman's been done filming forever. Flash is done. Blue Beetle's done. They're just waiting to release those, and then you could delay James Gunn till whenever. Yeah, it's not like we're waiting on it. It's just we'll just launch it when we're ready. So they don't really have the same problem that Marvel does. Marvel is screwed.
Yes.
Star Wars is screwed. They had just announced all these projects, and none of those scripts are done.
Yeah. I do think that we're at least getting Ahsoka.
Yeah. Oh, Ahsoka's done. That's fine. But I'm talking about like a Mando season 4?
Season 4, yeah.
And
Andor.
That's going to be delayed forever. Andor season 2. I assume those scripts are done. Who knows what's going on with the Acolyte?
Yeah.
But the Rey movie is now super delayed.
Oh yeah.
Which means how long will Kathleen Kennedy stick around now? She'll have an excuse saying, "Oh, it's a writer strike. You can't get rid of me."
Yeah. So as far as Star Wars, I am confident we will at least be getting Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew. I think those two are basically done.
Yeah.
As far as Andor, um, I don't know. I think as long as Tony Gilroy sticks around, we'll be good with Andor.
So I just, while we were talking, I just clicked over to Cameron Pasha, his website, and he said that there is a Blade script done, but everybody hates it. So they're like, we're not filming this.
I feel like that's what happens every time they finish a Blade script.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I mean, the rumored plot about being about him getting replaced by his daughter, it's just stupid. Don't do that.
immediately. Don't do it immediately. Like
Yeah. Or, please, we're begging
Like-
you, do not do this.
You don't need to pass the torch on your first movie.
No, it makes no sense. Unless the only way this makes sense to do that is if it was Wesley Snipes. Because that's like, oh yeah, here those other 3 movies happen, and now it's a new person,
Well, I mean, like, I don't know. I'm afraid to look up Wesley Snipes. Has he done was he a part of any of that stuff that went on?
No,
Did he get canceled?
He got in trouble for tax evasion.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Yeah, and I think he may have done some jail time for that. But
Well, so
again,
did Martha Stewart.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world. When it comes to Hollywood, it's not that bad. So yeah, the writer strike has blown up everything. But Picard is over, so they're fine. Whatever's coming out next with Star Trek, though, that's probably gonna be a mess.
I heard Strange New Worlds was good, so I don't know if that was what was next.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't want to talk too much about Star Trek, but I'm kind of done with Star Trek right where I'm at, and I'm kind of happy.
So yeah, that's what I figured it would be with you, at least, is like they gave you an out.
Yes. I kind of, what we're going to discuss next, I'm happy with where it's at, and I can step away from it.
I figured that's where you would be with what we're going to talk about next. So.
Yeah. Anything else about the writer strike?
Like I said, it's a shame, but I think that this is a very good opportunity to take a step back and reevaluate what is important. This is a chance to start over.
So another show this might kill or hurt really bad is Stranger Things, because those kids are not getting any younger, and now they have to wait. So yeah,
I mean, honestly, at this point, you do It Chapter 2. You wait like 20 years until they're all adults.
Yeah.
You know what? Netflix, just pay me right now. Like, I just gave you a baller idea.
Oh, my brother and I, while he was in town, we were writing our own Saturday Night Live skits, and they were way funnier than anything Saturday Night Live's doing right now. So we're like, yeah, please just hire us as scabs. We will come in and write Saturday Night Live, and it'll be hilarious.
Thank God. Have you watched Saturday Night Live recently?
Every once in a while, I'll catch a clip here or there. Like when I was at your house last. That's probably the last time I've checked anything out from Saturday Night Live.
They are doing too many costumes. Stop with the costumes. They're not funny.
Yeah, Saturday Night Live for me, it hasn't been funny for. It's been a while. I'm trying to think of which group.
I thought the last crew was all like Kate McKinnon. I think
Kate McKinnon's funny. I mean, you'll have like those stragglers that don't leave when everybody else does, and they're pretty funny. But
like, did you ever see the Ryan Gosling alien abduction skits?
Yes. Yeah. Those are funny. Yeah, where she's like my hoo-ha and all that. Yeah, those are great.
I'm out here Porky Pignet on the top of a Long John Silver's.
The one that made me laugh really hard, because it was like a Tim Conway style joke, was where she said that they took her to doggy heaven instead of regular heaven, and now I think there's a dog lived in my left breast, and she goes, "Why did you grab my breast? Well, I didn't want to wake him up.
I didn't want to wake him up." But no, I thought that was funny. I still think, and I can. The issue is I used to be able to say what the worst SNL skit was like confidently, and now it's become a competition
Yeah,
because
it's
I've
not
I've
good.
always I've always said that the worst SNL skit. Funny enough, it's an Alec Baldwin skit.
Mhm.
Um, is whenever he's a gym teacher helping the kid do sit-ups and the kid keeps farting, and that's the skit.
That sounds awful.
That's the skit. That's it.
That is wow. All
I'll
right.
have to send that one to you.
So yeah, SNL's on hold. Maybe this will be one of those moments where they can kind of clear the decks, get a whole new group in there, and
Stop the costumes.
yeah,
Yeah,
so we're hopeful that good things will come out of this writer strike. But any show that's currently in production or movies, we're just going to be in a rough time where we're not going to have some movies for a while.
I'm trying to think of like what good came out of the last writers strike. Like when did that officially end?
2008,
It ended in 2008.
I think so.
So we got Dark Knight, Iron Man. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, I mean it kind of it changed things, but it also like kind of started the end of network TV. you know, a lot of things changed after that. Um, so I'm not sure what things are going to look like in 6 months when it comes to all this. So we'll see.
Yeah,
Um,
because we're going into summer. Shows aren't even starting yet.
yeah. So what did happen in the last writer strike is reality shows happened.
Ooh. You know what I hope
So
happens then? If that's the case, I really hope that we can get Joel McHale his show back so he can make fun of
yes,
reality shows.
yeah, just bring him back. I would
Just,
love that.
I love the soup. It was my
I did too.
favorite.
All right, let's talk about something a little happier, or I guess maybe not happy,
Sadder.
sadder. Let's talk Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, non spoiler thoughts. I literally just saw this like 45 minutes ago, so I'm still kind of processing it in my head here.
I saw this on Thursday, so I have had time to I've had time to process this and talk with others who have seen it throughout the weekend.
Okay. Um, so yeah, overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this film. I it is a dark film. It is not a I mean, it's funny, but it's not as joyful as the past films have been. But yeah, I just love this group of characters so much that I'm just on board anytime they're on screen, except for Thor: Love and Thunder. That was the one time they were not done well.
I mean, even then, I thought they were all right. It was just the rest of the movie that was a little. I have to go through and redo. I have to go through and redo my tier. We'll have to like redo the tier list thing because I look back on it and I'm like I think I disagree with myself on a couple things.
The thing about the tier list is I stopped watching Marvel movies. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know where I didn't watch Wakanda Forever and I didn't watch Quantum Mania. But yeah, we're gonna avoid spoilers here. I'll just say all my predictions for the movie were wrong,
Yeah.
like almost all of them. And this movie has been kind of in development hell for like 5 years, pretty much. Because James Gunn got fired and brought back, and they delayed it, and this and that.
I don't
Um,
think that we get the movie that we got if James Gunn didn't get fired. I think if James Gunn didn't get fired, we get a different movie.
it's the same script. He says. He says it's been the same script for um, since
I
since he first wrote it, and
I
he
but I
says he says that Thor was never going to be in the script. So
sure.
if they had if Thor Love Thunder come out, he'd be just like, oh well, if they drop him off somewhere between movies, don't worry about it.
I don't know. I think that like our characters would have ended in different places had because I think he would have stuck around Marvel and not gone to DC.
Oh, see, we're getting into spoilers.
No, like I said, where like I There
Yeah.
are characters who are in the movie and they end up in certain places at the
No, but
end.
what I was wanting to say would have been spoilers. I had to catch myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, nothing you said, but what I was about to say. Yeah, I think that there are plans set up at the end of this film that he was supposed to helm, and that's all been blown up. So I don't know what those look like now. I'm trying to be as vague as possible. Because he was supposed to be the head of the cosmic side was the plan before he got fired. So
Imagine James Gunn doing Annihilation to Thanos Imperative.
Gosh, it makes me so angry.
Like imagine them like at the end of like oh my god, Thanos is back, and then they go into Thanos Imperative.
This movie gave me the resolution I needed, and this is kind of
I don't need any more.
This with Spider-Man No Way Home is kind of like the perfect ending spots for Marvel. You end Spider-Man right there, you end this right here. Most of the other characters are dead or you don't care about. And it's kind of like, yeah, this is a good spot to be done with Marvel. And I think that's where I'm at. I think I will probably not see another Marvel movie until Deadpool 3. And that is if I told myself that 3 years ago, I would have said you were crazy.
Now I have a question.
Yeah.
Are you more excited for DC movies now than Marvel movies?
Theoretically. I mean, because we don't have much to go on. But yeah, I mean, James Gunn tells a heck of a story. And so if he's in charge, he understands heroes and sacrifice and all that stuff, that makes a good movie.
There is so much in this movie that I had to Google things about. Because I'm like, what is James Gunn's belief system? I had to Google that.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, because you got some crazy stuff in this film. You totally threw me off. But here's the thing about this movie that my brother and I have discussed a lot of times about when you walk out of a movie or TV show and you're like, that was great. And it may not be the greatest script ever, but if it's satisfying, that's all I need. And this is satisfying. It's just a very satisfying ending. Now, my oldest son was very upset with some stuff that happened in the film.
So I'm. Oh, go ahead.
So I will say this movie's not for everybody. If you have some sensitive kids,
this has got to be the most violent.
It's dark. It's very dark.
So I have to go ahead and say this just to get it out there, because I am known and I am prone to speaking in hyperbole. But I have talked with this amongst many people over the past couple days. Mm-hmm. And usually people will talk me down. But nobody talked me down. Some of them may agree with me. This is 100% top 5. Like, I think it's better than the first one. I think it's better than the second one. This is 100% top 5 MCU movies.
I just got out of the theater. I can't answer that right now.
Sure.
I gotta think about this. But I thoroughly enjoyed this film. I love Rocket Raccoon, and so this is a Rocket Raccoon movie.
Yes, you know what? Oh my gosh. Okay. So there's so many things that I want to, because it is a Rocket Raccoon movie, but it isn't. You know how weird that is.
Yeah. And we can't say anything else. But yeah, I totally understand what you're saying.
I think that this is quite possibly top 3. There is a sliver of a chance that this is the best Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. I know, right? It's weird to say that. It's weird to say that.
I'm a Thanos guy. I don't know if anything ever tops Infinity War, even though I know the movie's flawed. Um, I don't know.
So I do want to ask you this, and I don't think that this will really get into any spoilers because in general, I don't think people care.
I was fine with him. I know what you're gonna ask. I was fine with him. Is that what you were gonna ask?
I was.
Okay, I'm fine because in the comic books, anytime he comes out of the cocoon early, he's always screwed up.
Okay, okay.
I'm fine. I'm
Okay.
fine. Totally fine.
I was wondering because I'm watching and I'm like, I'm like, this is a great movie, and I mean, he almost kind of doesn't belong in this movie.
Mhm.
Oh man, they're making him a joke, and I don't know how he's gonna feel about it.
I was fine because by the end, he was kind of getting more to where I wanted him, and so I was fine. You know what I thought was weird is slight spoilers, but not really. Gamora acted way more like her comic book version than the movie version. Of
Oh
this movie.
yeah,
Way more.
yeah, definitely. Here's the thing. I think the place where we put all of our characters is
Very
like,
interesting.
I want to see more, but I don't. You know?
Yeah. If this was it, if this was the end, I'm fine.
Well,
I'm really fine.
I want this to be the end because I don't trust them.
Exactly. I do not trust them at all. I don't.
Okay, so
you know what? We're gonna switch over to talk about your Disney trip.
I have one more question.
Okay, real quick. Okay.
How do you feel about the post credit, the second post credit scene with the message at the end? How do you feel about that?
That could mean 100 things. So I don't know if that is if that's going to be on Earth or in space. That's my question.
I
If it's in space, I'm fine. Well,
I didn't want it at all.
I got you.
Do you remember? Wait, hold on. Are you a James Bond guy? Did you see like?
No, I've never seen any James Bond movies. Well, I've seen parts of GoldenEye.
Okay, so spoilers for No Time to Die. That movie's been out long enough. That movie's been out long enough. But spoilers.
Hold on.
No. Yeah,
just wait. I gotta do something real quick.
Yeah.
Just to confuse anybody that jumps in real quick.
Gotcha.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Okay. Okay. If you've seen the movie, if you've seen both of these movies, then this makes sense. So No Time to Die is the last of the Daniel Craig films, and he actually dies at the end of it.
Yes, I heard this. Yes.
And then, you know, at the end of every James Bond movie, it always says like James Bond will return. Mm-hmm. And so me and my friend Ben, we both love James Bond. We're watching it. And honestly, we're staying in the movie theater because we're just kind of like awestruck, but also like, is it? And it says James Bond will return, and he just died.
That's weird.
It was so weird. And so that's that. It's a little different, but it's kind of how I felt at the end of this one.
And it was also weird that it went to a white and black screen instead of a black and white screen.
Yeah.
I was it's strange. All right, we could. So here's the thing: we're gonna switch to Disney talk.
Yes,
and then the live stream will be over. We can talk about whatever without worrying about spoilers.
Whenever Guardians 3 comes to Disney Plus,
we will do a massive talk about where we think this is going. If we think that it'll be worth sticking around for, and we will talk about the trilogy as a whole and the history of Marvel Cosmics. So that'll probably be about a month.
Yeah. And I will talk about how this is the greatest villain ever in any MCU movie.
I thought he was great, and
He
it's
was
weird.
brilliant.
It's weird because I haven't seen Quantum Mania, but people will not stop talking about Kang, and I don't hear anybody talk about High Evolutionary. I hear
Um,
nobody talking about him.
it's because the guy who played High Evolutionary hasn't committed any crimes.
Well, I mean, at that time, the other guy hadn't either, but I mean,
No,
I
yeah.
understand the Hollywood what they call it, the Hollywood machine was trying to really pump up his, because he was just in Creed 3. They were trying to make him the next thing, and what's his name, Jonathan Majors, yeah,
Jonathan Majors.
yeah, and so the guy playing High Evolutionary, I haven't heard squat,
I
and
know.
I thought he was such a good performance, and I don't even like the High Evolutionary, so this is
No, it's weird. Like my history with High Evolutionary includes Spider-Man Unlimited, the cartoon.
oh,
Um, oh man, Counter Earth. What a thing. Um, no, it was. We're gonna move on to Disney, but this movie was
yeah.
brilliant.
So I want to talk about the trailers real quick before this. I already
Oh.
said I ran out of the theater when Marvel started.
Marvel's looks horrible. I'm trying to think of what else.
Live action Little Mermaid played. Somebody stood up and started clapping when the trailer ended. We were cracking up, dying.
So and here's the thing. I don't specifically have it because I really don't care. Do whatever. My only question is, in the time period, is her being black like a more taboo thing than her being a mermaid? Like, is there racism back in the day?
Oh
to-
yeah, definitely. But not even that. Have you seen her sisters?
I have.
Every
Is
sister's
it?
a different race, so it's like
Yeah,
this Triton just banging
Triton
everything in the sea.
getting it. Getting it. I've also seen what's the name of the fish friend?
Flounder and Sebastian's the crab, and then Scuttles is the bird.
They all look horrible. They all look horrible.
They look terrible.
Now, like I said, I am not a part of this conversation of the Little Mermaid should be black or white. I'm not a part of that conversation. I don't care. I'm just looking at it as a movie. Those effects look terrible, and and I hate Namor.
I agree. So then they played the Indiana Jones trailer. I hadn't seen the new trailer, but they start playing
that new trailer actually looks really good. I can't believe it.
But the song choice was just
song choice is weird.
It's very weird because at first I didn't know what I was looking at. Because I'm sitting here like, okay, is this one of those Harrison Ford dramas? And then I was like, wait a second, this is Indiana Jones, and
that is the first Dial of Destiny trailer where I'm like, I hate Kathleen Kennedy, but that looks really good.
So, and here's what I'm going to start telling people. This is from the people that brought you Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. And if you want more of that, then go see Indiana Jones.
But it's also from the people who brought you Logan.
And Willow. The Willow TV series.
I'm just talking about James Mangold.
I know honestly. You are. I know.
That's another thing that my dad was talking about. He's like, at this, because he's like, you know what, you need to scrap Kang and bring back Tony Stark. Like a year ago, he's like, I would have said you can't bring back, but as soon as Hugh Jackman says yes, I will be Wolverine again, you can bring back anybody.
If you can get to the Secret Wars movie where it's the Fox Marvel versus Marvel, I think you bring everybody back. But if that never happens, like if everything gets delayed because of writer strike, nobody's getting any younger. Yeah. Disney is having more and more issuts. Who's going to want to come back at that point?
I mean, all
right. So other
Robert Downey Jr. doing?
Well, he's sitting there on a private island. They bought all that money.
Yeah, I think he's an Oppenheimer. That looked great.
So Oppenheimer trailer looks good. Then the Flash trailer. I don't. I mean, if you take Michael Keaton out of that trailer, I have zero desire to see that movie.
I'm not gonna say I have zero desire because I know you famously hate Man of Steel,
Yes.
but I love Michael Shannon as Zod. I've always loved his performance,
Yeah.
and so bringing him back and like there, I actually I quote his Zod as much as I quote Tom Hardy's Bane,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not even like I know everyone's always like I will find him, like everyone loves that one, but
Mm-hmm.
I love whenever I love when he's like heresy, like of course the true Michael Shannon is Red Death from Bullet Train. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That is him. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
him, yeah. And he's brilliant. I'm trying to think of what like I can't remember if the Barbie trailer showed, but I mean that might be film of the year. I don't even know, man.
Oh, and then we got Spider Verse, and yeah, I'm pretty excited about Spider Verse.
Spider Verse. Did the Dune trailer play for you guys?
No, but I have seen it.
I
And then
think it looks pretty good.
we got the Nicole Kidman trailer we get every time we go to an AMC theater.
So we have Cinemark here.
Mhm.
And so I don't normally see that, but down at Disney Springs, it was an AMC theater, and so the Nicole Kidman thing played, and I'm like, oh man, this is what everyone's been memeing for the past 3 years.
It plays every time you go to any movie.
That's so funny.
Oh, it is awful. All right. So I guess I mean this is your deal here.
Yeah.
I guess tell us what parks you went to, what things you liked, and then anything you didn't like, and then anything else you want to talk about. So,
So as far as parks, so we get there, and are you aware of what Disney Springs is?
is that the like resort area or?
No, no. So I was confused about that as well. Disney Springs is like the coolest outlet mall you'll ever go to.
Oh, like downtown Disney, what it used to be. Okay,
Right,
yeah.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So we get there, and so we actually only go to Hollywood Studios. Um, so we get there on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
We unpack, we rest up. Monday we chill and we go to Disney Springs. Tuesday is Hollywood Studios. Wednesday was just kind of our going out adventuring day, and then day four was going back to Disney Springs because that was actually May the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
And so we weren't going to go to Hollywood Studios on May the 4th because I mean that's ridiculous.
It's insanity. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we went to, I think it was Hollywood. What's it called? Hollywood. You just said it. And it's already
Hollywood
joking.
Studios.
Hollywood Studios. We went there like on New Year's Eve, and it was
Oh.
insanity. And they started handing out horns to all the kids, and so it was about 5 o'clock, and it was like, okay, we got to get out of here.
Right. All right.
We got to go.
So the way I have this organized is I'm going to start off with just some pictures from our Guardians expedition, which was on May the 4th. We saw Marvel's Star Wars on Star Wars Day. It was a lot of fun. And so I wanted to show some pictures. So I'll go ahead and get this pulled up. There we go. So there's me and my brother. There's me and my brother. We're hanging out on the red
Chunko.
carpet. That's Chunko. Oh look, see there's Kraglin right there. We didn't even mention Kraglin. Kraglin's always great.
Oh yeah, him and Cosmo, great.
Going back to that, everybody gets their time, and it's amazing.
Yep.
There are 10 characters, and everyone gets their time.
Yeah, like Picard.
So
talk about it next week.
Right. So this right here, this was really cool. This was actually something that me and my mom got. This was an alcoholic beverage that they were offering called the Awesome Mix Volume 3.
Nice.
It is like a peanut butter, it's like a peanut butter screwball whiskey, whatever, and it had like gummy stars in it. And you know what? It's kind of weird whenever you go in for your drink and then it's peanut butter. It's so weird.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that would taste like.
No, it's peanut butter. That's
weird.
Right. But yeah, so I wanted to start off with that because for the rest of it, I've actually organized this in 10 things that we did at Hollywood Studios, and I've organized them into a Jenny Nicholson style list. You know what? Jenny Nicholson, she's a great YouTuber who, goes to all these different resorts and amusement parks. So I thought that I would organize it into a Jenny Nicholson list, starting with number 10, and this is ordered.
Okay.
Number 10 was Star Tours. Unfortunately, Star Tours does not hold up.
They have ruined it.
Well, no, it's not even that.
Okay.
The 3D doesn't hold up.
No, the original wasn't in 3D.
Was it not?
No. They've ruined it. They put it all in 3D, and it's awful.
Okay, gotcha. Because, I mean, I'm becoming like my father. I got sick.
Yeah, I got such a bad headache. It was not an enjoyable experience.
I don't know why I remember, because I did the other one with Rex, the pilot. And I thought that one was 3D too, but I guess not.
Nope.
Fun fact though, so you go into Aga's Cantina, and Rex is the DJ now, so he's retired from piloting, and he's now the DJ. That was a lot of fun. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
But Star Tours, it doesn't hold up. It was a struggle. Luckily it was a 10-minute wait. Like there was like no line for this.
I wish they had Star Tours and then Star Tours Classic. If you wanted to ride the classic one, go ride the classic one.
And they have two different shuttles, so in theory you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it hurts, but Star Tours does not hold up. Speaking of something that's gonna hurt and it does not hold up, I'm really sorry.
Don't you say it.
I gotta say it.
Yeah.
Muppet Vision 3D. It's hilarious.
It's still fun. But yeah, when I went Bean to Bunny, the puppet looked really bad when he pops up.
Well, and what it is like it's funny. The 3D doesn't really hold up, and really you're just waiting, and it's a 10-minute wait. But like what I could do is I could go sit down, pull up Disney Plus, and watch Muppets. And so really the ride, the only difference between this and watching the Muppets is bad 3D and a 10-minute wait.
So I'll say this attraction is like 25 years old or it's old.
No. Absolutely. It shows.
But it is still, if you've never done it, to be in the theater and have the old men up there and the arrows sticking out of the water being blowing up.
That is still the funniest thing.
And Swedish chefs in the projection booth and all that. It's fun.
I mean, I laugh every time. It's like, what are you guys doing here? We entered a competition. Yeah, we lost.
We can't go nowhere. We're bolted to the seats.
We're bolted to the seats. You see, here's the thing. It is so fun, and really, it's more of just a shame because, and I'm gonna say this, and then you're gonna disagree with me, okay?
Okay.
I feel like this could be replaced and updated.
I don't disagree with you. I think they could do something better with the Muppets, but I don't trust current Disney to do that.
That's what I'm saying. It's like make it Muppets, do something cool. Honestly, there's actually a couple things coming up in my list.
So let me ask you this: I don't know if that may have been at Disney World, but they do like a Muppet show, or they were before they fired everybody, like a live Muppet show on the street. Like there's a building, also the windows will open, they'll come out and do like a big Muppet show like every hour.
Nothing that I saw, but that could be in another one of the
I feel like that's
parks.
something that they've gotten rid of, but it was hilarious.
They honestly, just from the sound of it, it does sound like, because honestly, there were not a whole lot of characters.
No, because they fired everybody.
Yeah. We saw Goofy, we saw Ray and Chewbacca, and that's it.
When we went, they had the lines to get your picture taken with characters or whatever, and the Chewbacca line, the Vader line were real long, and then like nobody was in the BB-8 line.
I would have, you know what? I would have gotten the BB-8 line, just because that would be a lot of fun. So now we're getting into stuff that I do think like this one still holds up in a way. I do wonder if they're going to update this, considering they have a new movie coming out.
There's a lot of rumors that this will be replaced soon. So it's
what
good. I don't know if it'll be Muppets or something else.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But so this next one, I think holds up, but I think it will also be replaced, but also by the same franchise. We did the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. This was a lot of fun. I have a feeling that they're going to update this with Dial of Destiny stuff. But this was a lot of fun. I watched this when I was a kid, and
this is another thing that's like 25 years old, but yeah, it still holds up. It's still a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, like the difference between this and the other two is the other two are like, they're held back by 25-year-old effects and bad 3D. They are actually doing these stunts.
It is a stunt show they do several times a day, every day.
Yes. And I mean, it's so much fun. And even then, they do the scene. So they do the first scene where he's running away from the boulder and all that, and that's a lot of fun. They do the scene in Cairo, jumping from building to building, which is a lot of fun. And then they do the scene at the airbase with the big guy. And I don't remember this from when I was a kid. And so I'm watching this. I turn to my dad and I'm like, how are they going to do this? And they straight up do it. Of course, they put smoke and everything, but they drop the guy into like a trap door and make it seem like he gets chopped up by the plane.
Yeah, it's wild and dangerous. It's very dangerous.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But no, this is a blast. I always have fun with this. Like I said, I think if anything gets replaced, it'll be this one, and it'll be with Dial of Destiny stunts. And like I said, that's only a possibility. They might just keep this one around because it's still good. Next one. So we did Smuggler's Run. Smuggler's Run was a lot of fun. If you don't know what it is, you get 6 people in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. You get 2 co-pilots, 2 gunners, and 2 engineers. Cameron and I were co-pilots. My parents were the gunners, and then we had we had a Hispanic mother and daughter as our engineers. And so they had a little trouble understanding, like, so wait, what are we supposed to do? And like, if you see a button that glows, just press it.
Yeah. Remind me to tell you about the Star Tours ride after we get off the air.
Okay. But this was fun. This one did make me a little queasy, actually. Like I said, me and Cameron were the pilots. So I controlled the left and right and the boost. Cameron controlled the up and down and the hyperspace lever. And so all of the motion sickness is our fault because we suck at flying the Millennium Falcon.
What, you're not like Ray, where you just can fly it automatically?
No, I'm not. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. I think this was the second thing we did in the day. Muppets Indiana Jones and Star Tours were a little bit later on in the day. But this was probably the second thing that we did in the day. But it was a lot of fun. One of the coolest things that I can say about, especially at Galaxy's Edge, standing in line is so cool. Because you can get on your phone on the Disney Datapad app, and you can like complete missions to get more of the story of the ride, which is kind of cool. But in general, like you see pods, and you see the things you're transporting, and then an animatronic Hondo comes out and he gives you your mission. And the people like the workers get really into it. Like at the end, Hondo's like great job, minus what you owe me, the bounty's on the way. And whenever we're exiting, one of the workers is like, I wouldn't trust him, the bounty's not on the way. So it is a lot of fun. Next up, one of my favorites that I'm so glad still holds up, and it's brilliant, the Hollywood Tower of Terror, the Twilight Zone. Oh man, this is so good.
I don't think I've ever rode this.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. When we went the first time, and I was like 8, I think that Star Tours was my favorite, but I could like definitely tell you that this is the best ride that we rode last time. It's so fun, and it makes you feel like you're in an episode of the Twilight Zone,
which is cool.
Yeah. And this one, they do holograms, but the effects are several years old, like maybe around that 20-year mark, 25-year. It still holds up. The effects are great. And we actually did end up getting and we never do this. We never, how like at the end of like rides, it's like, hey, here's your picture at the first drop. We never get those, but my mom bought it this time, so I don't have it here because she got a digital download and she hasn't sent it to me. I'll have to find it because I'm really funny because I'm at the edge, and so I'm holding on with both hands to like the grating. My dad looks like he's taking a dump, and he's like, it's really weird because like his arms are in a weird position. It's just really funny. But oh, this was so good. This was so good. Now to take a detour. Talk about some of the food that we got. So we went to Docking Bay 7 for lunch, and this is actually what I got. This is called Pirjanad Tip Yip. Now, in Star Wars, Tip Yip is Endorian hen, also known as chicken. And Pirjanad is a spicy Mandalorian sauce, spicy chipotle. So essentially, I got corn, rice, and General Tso's, but in Star Wars. And it was so good. Like, I've had really bad amusement park food. In fact, the majority of amusement park food that I've gotten has been really bad. This holds up really well. In addition to, like, so we went to Morimoto Asia on our first day, which is Iron Chef Morimoto's restaurant at Disney Springs. And so nothing was going to hold up to that. And this came pretty close. My mom and Cameron got Kadu ribs, which I tried a little bit of theirs, and that was really good. And then I got this thing called moof juice.
Okay.
Yeah. It's called moof juice, and I really couldn't. I think it was like some sort of pineapple thing. It wasn't great, but the name is even worse. Moof juice just is not an appetizing name, but you know what? I needed to get moof juice to say that I had it, so I did. Um, and then after that, and this was later on, I think that we ate lunch around 1 o'clock or so, maybe 2 o'clock, and then at 6:30, we actually had reservations for Aga's Cantina. Aga's Cantina was so cool. Um, like I said, Rex is the DJ, um, and my mom, my mom got a beer flight, and this was an $85 beer flight. And the reason that it's $85 is because it's also her souvenir, because she actually drank out of a Rancor tooth.
Okay.
I don't have a picture of it, unfortunately, because she hasn't opened it yet. But you know, they give her an unopened one, but they bring her out like their store flight, and they had like Gold Squadron Lager and Gamorrean Ale and Trandoshan Ale, and so she's drinking these out of Rancor teeth. And it was so cool. I got something called a Jedi Mind Trick, which do you remember the drink that Obi-Wan went to go get in Attack of the Clones, and then he had to, like, you know, you don't want to sell me death sticks. That's the drink that he got. So I got to have the drink that Obi-Wan got during the death stick scene.
Nice.
But yeah, Aga's Cantina was a lot of fun. We actually we were actually seated right up at the bar, so we got you know, where we're at right now. This is a picture that my mom took. So this is how close we were. And you can see the IG heads are the cool. Taps. It's a lot of fun. Cameron and my dad are not alcohol drinkers, so they got non-alcoholic drinks. They got this thing that was like super bubbly, and they had like little boba spheres in it that, like, you know, the little gel things that you buy down on. And they're like, "What is this?" And they're like, "Oh, those are in layman's." I don't remember what specifically they said, but in layman's terms, they're the frog eggs that Baby Yoda ate in season 2.
Nice.
But oh man, that was a lot of fun. After that, oh, okay, this was the surprise of the day, and we went on this on a whim. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I've never been on a ride like this before. It was astounding. This honestly is what I think they could do with the Muppets.
Yeah, this was under construction when we were there, so we did not get to ride this.
It was like being in a cartoon. It was amazing. Yeah. If I'm being honest, unless we show like a POV video, I don't know how to explain this. This ride. It's brilliant. Everyone's in it. Like, I freaked out because Huey, Louie, and Dewey were in it.
Nice.
So essentially what it is Mickey and Minnie are going on a romantic picnic. And they usher you into this room to watch the cartoon. And so we're watching this cartoon and we're like, okay, this is cool. Well, Goofy is the conductor, and he accidentally crashes and blows the screen open. And so our like usher, he's like, wait, let me make sure that it's safe. And so he jumps into the screen, quote unquote. And it's like, okay, guys, it's safe. Come on. And so we all jump through the screen. And so then at that point, we're in the cartoon, and we're gonna ride on the railway that Goofy just crashed. That's and so cool. Yeah, and so we're going through, and I mean, it is It is like being in a cartoon. You're watching. It's kind of like It's a Small World, but not creepy.
Mhm.
And then Mickey accidentally flips a switch for the railroad, and so all the railroad, all the different cars split up, and it becomes a runaway railway. And there's a point that is just astounding where you go into a room and on the walls, I mean, it's obvious that you are on an island. There's a volcano and everything, and then it pushes you up. You don't. It's not obvious that it's a screen, but it's a screen, and so it pushes you up, and so you're watching this, and you go down this waterfall and you go underwater, and then it pulls you out, and the room has changed from the island and the volcano to where you're underwater. And
Cool.
I mean, the effects are amazing. There comes a point where you're about to, at the end of the ride, you're about to be put into like this, stomping press or whatever. And Mickey and Minnie have to stop it. And so then once they stop it, the train is back, and then you come out to the end, and then Mickey and Minnie, they get their romantic picnic, and they're finished singing their song, and Mickey's playing the guitar, and that's the ride. I mean, like, it was. I have never experienced a ride like that before. It was amazing.
Yeah, I wish I could go on that, but I'm not planning on going back to Hollywood Studios anytime soon. Because
Right,
if I go again, we're definitely going Universal to Nintendo Land.
Oh yeah.
So
now, sidetrack. We did hang out at. We didn't go to Universal. We went to Universal City Walk, which is kind of their version of Disney Springs, and I mean, it pales in comparison to Disney Springs. So like I understand what like I understand what City Walk is kind of doing, but for all intents and purposes, it's just the biggest food court you've ever been to, essentially. But Disney Springs is just so much more. But yes, I would like to go back and go to Nintendo World. That honestly, that Mario Kart ride that people have been riding, it looks like the Mickey Minnie ride. So it's kind of like that.
cool.
So that is number 3. Number 2 is kind of the same ride, but it's Star Wars. These two rides, this is Rise of Resistance. They are set up the same way. It is so cool because you're kidnapped by the First Order, and your ushers are so mean to you. It's so funny. They're like, "Come on, hurry up, let's get this moving." So it's like the less they want to be there, the better. The funny thing is, we actually had a little girl who was in front of us, and just watching this person dressed up as a First Order officer just kind of like interrogate this little girl was so funny. But oh man, yeah, like, so one thing that we've learned, because none of these are thrill rides. The closest thing to a thrill ride is going to be Tower of Terror. None of these are thrill rides, but these are just entertainment rides. These are great. Which is kind of the difference between Universal, because at Universal, you've got your Velocicoaster and whatnot. They have thrill rides because they don't have the brand power that Disney has. So they have to entice you with thrill rides. Disney doesn't have to. They just have to entertain you with cool rides. And so that is very much what these rides are. These are just some of the most inventive, creative rides I've ever seen. There is a point where you're being chased by Kylo Ren, and he ignites his lightsaber, and then you get in this elevator, and then the elevator door closes right before he gets to you, and then he starts to cut into the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so cool because, like, I mean, it looks like a lightsaber cutting into the ceiling.
Right.
And then there's an escape pod sequence that it was a pretty intense sequence. And so this was actually the first thing that we did today that day. And it's cool because essentially you crash on Batuu. So we walk in, we go straight here because we know it's going to be busy. We actually got on in probably about half an hour because we were one of the first ones on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we crash land on Batuu and we go about our day. It's kind of a cool thing to start off with. But yeah, of course, the thing that we did. This was about 3:00. This is my favorite thing. I got to build a lightsaber, and this is me. I did get all dressed up. I got my goggles on. I got a Jedi pauldron on my shoulder, and my rebellion vest. I mean, this was a religious experience. It's super cool because, like, so we got to bring in guests. So our parents got to watch us as we did this. And the cool thing was, you see children in this picture. Those were the only 2 kids. The rest of us were adults.
Oh yeah.
But what my dad didn't realize was he's like, "Oh, I thought you were just gonna go in and like build lightsabers. I didn't realize they made a show out of it." And like, no, this is a show.
Mm-hmm.
Our presenter, I think his name was Kimball. He was so fun. He got into it. There were other people dressed up like me. Some people were dressed up a little bit better than me because I was going for like a rebellion scrapper. You had some people who like got in their Jedi robes.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, like he was like, "Ah, yes, you have chosen protection and defense, very reminiscent of the High Republic." And like, it was so much fun. This trip was something that I don't think I'll ever. The only way I will be able to experience this again will be with a wife or a child, if I'm being honest.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
This is something that I experienced for myself, and now I have to experience this with a loved one. Not that my brother and my parents aren't loved ones,
No.
but it's got to be a different type of loved one for me to experience this again.
Yeah. No, that's really cool.
But yeah, that is my slideshow. I had a lot of fun. And
Did you all get to go to the Toy Story section at all, or?
We did. Oh, that's right. Okay, so we didn't ride any of the Toy Story rides just because of because the Slinky Dog one. I mean, that's just a kid roller coaster. That's not really for us.
Mm-hmm.
And then Toy Story Mania. By the time we got over there, that line was way too long for us.
That one's very fun. But yeah, the lines are just stupid.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. We did all of this stuff. We didn't get, your Genie Pass or your Lightning Pass or anything like that. So unless you're a park hopper, you can go to a single park and you can do everything you want to do in a day. Like it.
Depending on which park, yes.
Sure.
Yeah. And how busy it is, yes.
Right. Because I figured if we go to Galaxy's Edge 2 days before Star Wars Day, most people would plan to go on Star Wars Day.
Oh yeah, it would have been insanity on May the 4th. Yeah.
So, but one of the coolest things was we did go into Toy Story Land. We did kind of experience. We got there and we experienced it. they had the Green Army Men were doing a drum line,
Mm-hmm.
and it was amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So yeah, the other there we go. There were the Green Army Men. Those were also people you could get your um, get your picture with and whatnot. So there are other characters.
Mhm.
Other things that were cool. Blue milk was delicious. Never had anything like that before. Um,
Did you have to milk it yourself, or did
no, no. Now, here's the thing. I know that because they have blue milk and green milk. I have heard no good things about green milk, so we didn't even try it. But
I have a theory that green milk, it was like his Pepto Bismol, and so when Ray interrupted him, he didn't get his daily dose of the Pepto Bismol, so he like died of indigestion at the end of the movie.
That's funny. Another one of the cool things, because there actually were First Order troopers walking around as well. And so, Chewie and Ray were just walking around the park saying hi to kids. And then there came a point where First Order troopers were walking towards them like on a catwalk.
Mhm.
And in the middle of talking, they're like, "Oh man, we got to get out of here!" So they like literally ran away, which was a lot of fun.
I wonder if that's how they go on break. They're like, "Okay, gotta get me out of here." So the stormtrooper show up. It's like, "Oh, we gotta go, kids."
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But another cool thing is every so often, just over like their intercom speakers, they play TIE fighter sounds like they're.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
So yeah, it was just it was a lot of fun. I'm really glad that I got to do that. So that was my trip. And here's the thing: every Star Wars thing I did, there are people who vehemently hate the sequel trilogy, and yes, Galaxy's Edge is based on the sequel trilogy, but I think that a Star Wars fan, can still have fun there. I don't think that you have to be a sequel lover to have fun.
Yeah, it's still a cool experience, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that is our show for tonight. Join us next week. We're going to talk about Picard season 3. I know a lot of people gave up on Star Trek. You might want to check out Picard season 3. It's pretty awesome.
And then Caleb says, "I like Picard season 1. I don't know why you guys gave up on it, but whatever."
So next week we'll kind of talk about Picard season 3 and when other franchises have tried to bring back characters and when it works and when it doesn't work. So we'll talk about all that next week. But until then, I've been Final Monkey.
And I'm Caleb.
And we will talk